Iran managed to land a few hits into enemy territory, striking their capital and hitting at least 7 to 9 targets. 7 to 9 missiles out of 150 that were launched, meaning almost 95% of Iran's attack was repelled successfully, while Iran suffered today a loss of 6 nuclear scientists and 20 higher-up military brass in the very capital of the country. While Iran launched over 150 missiles into enemy territory, their enemy struck with both airplanes, missiles, and drones 150 different sites in the entirety of former Persia. Iran air bases were destroyed, nuclear testing facilities were completely decimated, and it looks like the airport in Tehran is also out of service. I used the list created by ChatGPT and verified every single source here as the total damage that was inflicted by Iran. 1 enemy civilian was killed, 63 were injured, 34 people were hospitalized, 15 civilians were injured. A building was struck. Now, this news just came in, but a new barrage of Iranian missiles have just crossed over Lebanese territory to strike once again at Iran's enemy. And if you compare this tit for tat between the two countries, civilians in enemy territory were the ones most affected, but the Iranian military industrial complex was the one that took a huge blow from the enemy. Now, the Iranian military claims that they shot down an F-35, but that's highly unlikely due to the fact that no other news source outside of Iran is confirming this. But that seems to be the extent of the damage that Iran has been able to inflict so far. But do not forget, Iran has between 3,000 to 4,000 ballistic missiles and just as many drones. But the problem for Iran is that they have lost so much military leadership, it is very difficult for them to coordinate properly as to where to use this equipment. If Iran launches all 3,000 or 4,000 of their missiles and drones into enemy territory, what do they have left? And what if those strikes did not take out enemy military infrastructure? And I have a word of caution for Iran about their successful penetration of enemy air defenses. And this word of caution comes in 2 parts. The first is that if only 5 to 7% of Iran's missiles are able to make it into enemy territory, then those 4,000 cruise missiles that they have and a few thousand drones, okay, so maybe 400 or 500 in total can actually make it into enemy territory. What happens to Iran when those are spent? Second word of caution is Iran has an extraordinarily tricky enemy, as we've seen in the past. For all we know, Iran managing to strike the capital a few times may have been a deceptive measure to give the Iranian military some false sense of confidence. If Iran starts increasing the barrage of missiles, wouldn't that mean that eventually their enemy could track the origin of those missiles and then launch their own airstrike? Or, even worse for Iran, what if, with their false sense of confidence, they launch 1,000 ballistic missiles and drones at once, thinking they could easily overwhelm and pierce through these defenses? And what if, just like last year, the United States and other NATO allies shoot down the vast bulk of the missiles that were launched? What's then for Iran? I could be wrong, but the art of deception has been a very useful tool for Iran's enemy. Now, I want you to take everything I said and do a comparison as to who damaged who more. I am the Geo-Hussar, and being able to retaliate after getting attacked so horrendously still means you're defenseless. Thanks for watching.